Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me for another Alfred Hitchcock Presents review. Today I will be talking about Season 4, Episode 2, Don't Interrupt, starring Chill Wills, Cloris Leachman, and Biff McGuire. And this is a below average episode, in my opinion. It's not terrible, it's watchable. There's a few interesting themes here and there, but they don't necessarily really connect or go together that well, in my opinion. And not really that much happens through a large portion of this episode as well. The episode kind of just drags on a bit in places. And the ending is very abrupt and just kind of there as well, and didn't totally work for me. So we start with a young boy on a train named Johnny, and you can tell he really likes cowboys a lot. He's dressed as one. He's kind of playing by himself, but he's causing some issues for his parents, who are very nervous about the whole situation. Um, we also learn at this time that a patient has escaped from a mental hospital and is on the loose and could be in the area. We also learn that the boy, Johnny, was expelled from school at this point, so this kid's definitely caused some trouble. And his parents, whose names are Mary and Larry, also seem to be arguing about the situation a lot. You can tell they don't necessarily always agree on how to handle this kid, Johnny. So that's a setup for our episode. It's okay if not that exciting. So then we meet a man named Mr. Kilmer who appears on the train. I'm not sure where he comes from, if he was already on the train or what, but he introduces himself to the family, and right away you're kind of wondering, could this guy be the mental patient or not? I thought the episode did an okay job of keeping us interested in this for a while. Nothing great, but nothing terrible. He flatters Mrs. Templeton a lot. She seems to like it. It gets him in her good graces. The kid Johnny also seems to take a liking to this man, Mr. Kilmer. So they keep talking for a while. Some of these scenes are drawn out, but they're okay. So, like I said, Kilmer seems like a mystery at this point. We're not really sure about him. So Kilmer starts telling a story, and he talks about the cold, how he doesn't like it very much, which I think is supposed to make a connection to a later scene in the episode. But like I said, it doesn't totally all come together, in my opinion. So at this point, the train stops. They're having problems with the generator. We learn that the mental patient is still on the loose somewhere. And, the episode makes us think Kilmer is still a suspect. So at this point, Kilmer's going to tell another story, but the kid Johnny keeps interrupting everything. So the parents, his father in particular, offers him money, like $1 coin, if he'll listen to Mr. Kilmer's story and not interrupt. So Kilmer tells the story. It's something about sheep and a storm, and in my opinion, it wasn't all that great or all that interesting, but it ties into what else is happening. Johnny sees something out the train window. It's a man, probably the mental patient, but he can't talk or say anything, or he won't get the money, which is kind of interesting, I guess. You could tell this kid is scared, but somehow, even though a few small interruptions, he never really tells his parents or Mr. Kilmer what's going on. So we see eventually the mental patient kind of just falls, and I'm guessing that things don't end well for him unless someone finds him somehow, but doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So the train starts again. Johnny then tells his parents there was a man outside, but it's too little too late. Nobody really believes him, of course, at this point. So he gets his money, but he puts it like in his belt buckle or whatever, which I thought was kind of strange even for a kid, but I guess you just got to go with it. So he says goodnight to everyone, including Mr. Kilmer. He ultimately drops the money, and another man who works on the train doesn't say anything, keeps it, and picks it up. And that's actually how the episode ends. So I guess you can interpret the ending of this episode a couple different ways. My interpretation was that Johnny lost the money because he was supposed to learn a lesson, because he didn't say anything about the man that he saw outside the window soon enough. Like I said, there's some interesting themes in the episode, but ultimately I felt the ending was rushed and didn't really work all that well. And although some of the themes kind of tie together between like Mr. Kilmer's stories, the parents, and Johnny himself, I didn't think any of the ideas or themes were really fleshed out enough to be totally effective. But still, Don't Interrupt is a watchable episode, and I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. If you're a fan of Chill Wills, Cloris Leachman, or any of the other actors in this episode, then maybe you want to give it a one-time watch. But otherwise, I do think it's an episode that doesn't quite work and is not essential. So 2 out of 5 for Don't Interrupt. And as always, thank you very much for watching.